Knowledge is power, but metacognition is a superpower. Metacognitive knowledge, or meta-knowledge, is knowledge about one's thinking processes, mental states, dispositions, and so forth. Our meta-knowledge exists in three forms. Declarative knowledge is our what knowledge, procedural knowledge is our how knowledge, and conditional knowledge is our when and why knowledge. Declarative is knowledge of what to do. It refers to the factual information about our thinking, ourselves as learners, and about factors that influence our performance that can be retrieved through our memory. For example, Juanita's knowledge that she needs to write out each step in mathematical formulas is knowledge about herself as a learner. Her knowledge that she works best in the mornings is knowledge about factors that influence her performance. Both of these pieces of meta-knowledge are active assets in her declarative knowledge base. Procedural comprises of knowledge of how to do something. The steps and processes Juanita uses to solve mathematical problems are part of her procedural knowledge. Conditional knowledge refers to when to use procedures, skills, or strategy. Juanita's recognition that problem sets in her chemical engineering class requires her to use formulas she learned in calculus is evidence of her conditional knowledge at work. She knows the conditions under which to use calculus to solve a problem in a non-calculus course. What type of knowledge is most abundant among your students? Which is most lacking? Pause to consider this response. Replay if needed. When people refer to students' metacognitive knowledge, they are referring to their declarative knowledge. Students' metacognitive knowledge shapes how they think and feel while doing academic work, and how they think and feel about themselves as academic agents. Metacognitive knowledge plays an enduring role in students' perceptions of themselves as learners. It functions as a filter that determines whether students attribute occurrences to personal, task, or strategy characteristics. Whichever category students' metacognitive knowledge is filtered has enduring consequences because students will make conscious decisions based upon this subterranean activity. For example, Jamal, Darren, and Liz each believe they are not good writers, but their metacognitive knowledge leads them to make very different decisions, and their decisions take them down drastically different academic paths. Jamal believes he is not a good writer, so he decides to devote extra time to his upcoming writing assignment. Jamal's belief that he is not a good writer bypasses his personal characteristic and filters to his task characteristic. I am not a good writer. However, he believes he can compensate for his lack of writing skill by a strategy characteristic, devoting more time to the task. Jamal's decision to do the writing assignment despite his belief that he is not a strong writer is a cognitive level decision. Jamal makes this decision consciously. However, he is unaware of the metacognitive level factors that inform his decision. That is an example of how healthy metacognitive knowledge operates. Now, let's look at what destructive metacognitive knowledge looks like. Darren also believes he's a poor writer, but he decides to skip this specific writing assignment and any future writing assignments in this or his other courses. This decision to skip the writing assignment is a cognitive level decision that Darren consciously makes. However, a different set of metacognitive conditions take him down a different path. His belief that he is not a good writer is informed by metacognitive knowledge that is attributed to task characteristics. I am not a good writer. However, he lacks an appealing strategy to improve his writing. He does not believe that working harder will help him, so he decides to skip the task. His metacognitive knowledge is informing him that he cannot improve as a writer, so he uses a psychological face-saving strategy of avoidance to escape the pain of failure. Let's look at one more example of an even worse possible filtering situation. Liz is so frustrated by the writing assignment that she is considering withdrawing from school. Liz's contemplation of withdrawing from school is a cognitive level decision that is unknowingly being triggered by an even more destructive set of metacognitive conditions. Her belief that she is not a good writer is informed by metacognitive knowledge that she is generalizing to herself as a person. Liz believes her poor writing skills is an indicator that she is not cut out for college. Because she does not see her writing struggles as a task characteristic, I am not good at writing, or a strategy characteristic, I lack a specific writing strategy or skill, she attributes her lack of success to a personal characteristic, I am not cut out for college. It's important to remember that while Jamal, Darren, and Liz are making cognitive level conscious decisions, they are not aware of the metacognitive knowledge that is informing their decisions. If you're familiar with popular topics such as grit, growth mindset, self-efficacy, self-reliance, locus of control, and so forth, you can likely see how metacognition is a precursor to each of those constructs. I will explore some of these relationships in our final video. In the next clip, we'll answer some of the following questions. Where does metacognitive knowledge come from? Are some students inherently equipped with better metacognitive knowledge than others? How do students acquire metacognitive knowledge? And how can we help students acquire better metacognitive knowledge?